Hi, I'm Joyce,
And I'm Adriel.
and we are Divinely
Divinely
Guided. We hope you've had a great week. We hope you had a great day. We hope you're practicing self-care. We hope you've tried out a little bit of yoga, maybe some meditation, definitely some positive affirmations. Hopefully you've been feeding your spirit some good things that make you feel really good and more positive. Hopefully you've taken some time to do some types of physical activity. Hopefully you have established a nighttime routine where you just wind down and chill out and relax.
Okay, the fact that you can remember all those just off the top.
Yes. It's the old lady in me, honey. That's what we do. We remember everything, even the things you wish we'd forget.
Yeah, that's true.
All right, but today we're going to talk about one of my absolute favorite things. Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm me and that sound on that computer. Because even though I can remember everything, I can't see anything.
Yeah, it's true.
Glasses, I got glasses. But today we're going to talk about one of the things that has really been a staple in my self-care journey, and that is journaling.
Yes.
Yes, and it's one of our mutual favorites.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, I can remember when you attended school at Auburn University a few hours a day.
Yeah, for preschool.
For preschool,
Yeah.
yes, preschool. And you would go into my office with me because you went to preschool like 30 minutes after my workday started.
Yeah.
So you spend the first 30 minutes a day in my office. And I would always buy you big, pretty journals.
You would.
And you couldn't read or write at that time
Mm-hmm.
because you were like 18 months old when you first started.
Seriously?
Yes. Yes, you were 18 months old when you first started in the building where they actually had a child care in the building I was working in.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you were 18 months old because they were like, she's the perfect age. The age for this class is like 18 months. So, yes, you started attending Auburn University at 18 months.
Yeah.
But I would buy you the big pretty journals,
Mm-hmm.
and you just sit there, and I gave you a spot in my office and told you it was your desk.
Yes, he did.
And you would sit there for those 30 minutes before your class started and writing your journal. And you just scribble and just fill, yes, big, beautiful journal.
I remember just filling journals with just scribbles.
You did. You did.
had-
And I would buy them for you anyway.
You bought me these pretty little pens, and I would just like glittery pens and stuff. And I would just,
Right,
like, oh,
absolutely.
I
The
remember all
glittery
that,
pens, the
actually.
decorative, big decorative. I didn't buy you the simple journals. I
No,
liked you.
they were big and very extravagant looking.
They were. I did.
And you had someone that were similar to it. We had a similar journal.
Right. I did. But I love those journals. And journals are so good for self-care because you can use them for so many different things. Some of the things you can use them for, I was telling Adria earlier that during one of the times when I was in a darker period and not feeling really good about myself, I had what they called, a compliment journal. Because when you're going through dark periods, sometimes it's hard to look at yourself objectively. All you see is negative. You think you look bad physically, you're performing poorly, just so many negative things you can have going on in your head when you're in a dark place. So I had the compliment journal, and it was a lilac colored one, and it was had like a velvety cover. So I bought a pretty one. And I would carry it with me and just keep it in my purse. And for a few months, every time somebody gave me a compliment, I went and I wrote the compliment down. Because we're talking about people looking at you who don't really know anything about you. They just see you coming. They think, oh my God, that's an exquisite dress, or you look wonderful, or, whatever. What a beautiful smile, or if they gave you a compliment on a presentation, whatever it was. I wrote it in that journal. And people are just looking at you, and they can see you more objectively than you can see yourself when you're struggling.
Yeah.
So, but a compliment journal. Sometimes people keep journals to write out the things that they're upset or angry about, because that way they can just spill it all out and get it out and not keep it bottled up.
Yeah.
Do you ever do that?
Yeah. That's one of my major reasons for journaling, actually.
Uh-huh.
And it's not just anger. Sometimes it's if I feel sad. Like, I'll just tell the journal about everything.
Right.
And I feel a lot better after I write it.
Right. That's what people say, that when they write that down, they can just let it go.
Yeah.
I don't like to write down a lot of negativity because for me, when I write down things, it makes it so concrete and so real. And so for me, instead of getting rid of it, it just reinforces it for me when I write it down. So, but I know a lot of people do that, including you.
I do. It helps a lot for me. Because it also helps me as I write about a negative situation. Sometimes it can help me see when I write it down, like, oh, okay. I see it different. I see I can respond differently.
Look at it from a different perspective.
Yeah. When I write it down, it does change a lot of the time, actually.
Well, good. That's very good.
Yeah.
And like I said, for a lot of people, it helps them to just release it. I've gotten over, put it out there, now I'm done with it. Okay, so people use it for that. I love a gratitude journal. I started to bring one of my favorites down. It's a hot pink and it has laugh, smile, sing on it. But I would only write things that I was grateful for, only positive things like that. And the wonderful thing about that is, and we'll talk about that more later because as we said earlier, we're going to be releasing a gratitude journal. So we'll go into that in greater detail then. But one thing I did learn without giving away too much is that when I wrote down the things that I was grateful for, then I started that changed my mindset so much that I could see more and more things that I was grateful for. And so I started seeing things that, although they had been in my face all along, you just didn't take notice of them. It just becomes a part of the background. But when you're focusing intentionally on things you're grateful for, you see those things and you appreciate them. So clarity, gratitude, compliments, getting rid of your stress, just going through your day. Journaling has helped a lot.
It really has.
Yeah. You want to talk about your journaling a little bit more? Because I know you do it a lot. You probably journal as much now as I ever did.
You think so?
Yeah. And you do different types because you do, what's the illustrated journal?
Oh, I haven't done that in a while.
Oh, that is so neat. I love that.
Bullet journaling. Okay, with bullet journaling, it's more so like you plan your life in it. I also put it's like a planner.
Oh, okay.
More than a journal. But I will say that I stick pictures in it. Like at the end of every month, I'm like, here's what happened this month that I enjoyed. And so I can look back over the year and kind of see what the highlights were. So that's fun. So that's a different type of journaling. And then I have like diary journaling. But yeah, that's really all I do. But I've been journaling for a very, very long time. Like I remember, I think I was still in elementary school. I think I was 7. And somebody bought me a pink journal and like a little box. Yeah. Yeah. That was my first journal. Well, not my first journal. That was my first journal, I think, when I actually knew how to write. Right.
Yeah, that one was. And it was in a little pink box that also matched the journal.
And the journal was in the bottom of it. Right. You open it up. Because it had like art supplies in the top. Right. And if you opened it, it had a little journal in it.
Yes.
Yeah, and I was writing that every single day.
Yeah. I always bought you art supplies too. I don't know why. I guess because, I don't know, just nurtured your creative side.
Yeah, you did.
But anyway, yeah, I remember that journal actually.
Yeah, I still have it.
Really?
It's upstairs somewhere.
Well, I have most of mine too. It's hard to throw them away.
I don't want to throw them away.
Because they're just so, you have so much of your personal thoughts and feelings over in them. You hate to throw them away.
I'm not throwing any of mine away. That's not happening.
Yes. I know another one that I love and I still have, and I go back to it periodically, and sometimes I'll go put it back down. But it's the illustrated journal, and that's one where I cut out a lot of pictures. Things one. Yeah. And like I use a big sketchbook.
Oh, I started one of those. I actually started one of those. So yeah.
But I use a black bound sketchbook, and I like to cut out pictures or phrases or thoughts or, you know, something that if it's a person dressed in some clothing that I really liked, or if it was a house I really liked, or a car I really wanted, or a scene, a vacation, just a picturesque scene. Just, you know, I journaled that way. I love that one.
Yeah.
And I kind of go back to it periodically, and I'll add more stuff to it. And I was doing vision boards before. Doing vision boards was cool, but I would do it in that sketch, in that illustrated journal. Yes. So that's what we're talking about tonight. All the benefits of journaling when it comes to self-care. I'm interested to know how many of you actually keep a journal. Do you have a gratitude journal? Do you have a journal where you write about your experiences? One of the things I also did with my journal, and we're gonna come out with one of those. That's the first one we're coming out. I had a prayer journal where I always would write out my prayers. And there was one particular prayer that I wrote out about things that I wanted in my life. And I go back and I look at it, and all of those things that I wrote out that I wanted in my life, they have come to pass. And I thought to myself, man, I should have really thought bigger. I should have dreamed even bigger, because all of those things have come to pass. So do you do a prayer journal? Do you write out those prayers so you can go back and look at them? It's kind of amazing sometimes. Sometimes I will go back and I'll look at my prayer journal, and it's like the same prayer is repeated over and over again sometimes, throughout different stages in my life. You go back through, different ages, and I'm in different circumstance, but the basic prayer keeps repeating itself. So that prayer journal is a good thing. Like I said, I love the illustrated journal. And I need to stop popping. I didn't realize how much I pop when I talk until I started watching these podcasts. But I need to go back to the illustrated journal, because there's some more things. Say, okay, now I'm at a whole new chapter of my life. Because once you're retired from work and you have, I'm fortunate enough to be in reasonably sound mind and body. And so now it's time for a whole new chapter.
Yeah.
It's time for me to do something else bigger and better. Maybe totally different, because I don't have the same kind of responsibilities. I mean, you're about to be 26.
Yeah.
Jared is a grown man. Edgar's no longer in grad school. He, everybody, I don't have to take care of anybody anymore.
No.
I can just take care of me and put me totally first.
Yeah.
And so I need to pull out that illustrated journal and create what that next chapter is going to look like.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But yes. So I noticed you have one of your journals with you today.
Yeah, I do. Just nothing fancy. I got this from Target.
Mm-hmm.
It was very cheap. That's why I got it.
Uh-huh.
It's not the ideal type of journal. I'm really into those like vintage journals. Because when
Mm-hmm.
you get a journal, you should go ahead and get one that you really like. You get a really pretty one.
Yes.
It adds to it.
It does.
So I like to get those vintage ones with no lines.
Mm-hmm.
And they have the little strings that you can time close with, or like a buckle on it. I'm just really into those.
Mm-hmm.
And I like when they don't have lines, because I can write small and just like they last longer. Because this kind of tells you how much you're able to write. It's got those lines on it. It's I just like it when it's just a blank page.
Yeah.
But this is my journal, and I'll write about any and everything in here. So there's some like pages where it's just goals. I've got like New Year intentions, and just I write about my day or new opportunities or stuff I realized. Like if I have like some kind of epiphany, I'm like, I have to write about that in my journal. Or if I observe something about life or something, I'm like, oh, let me write about that and see what I think about it. And I don't know how to say this, but I'm gonna try. I think so much of social media, sometimes when people post stuff, I'm like, maybe you should get a journal. And some of what you just posted out there could be in your journal where you work through it before we put it out there. I be thinking that sometimes.
Okay. And I will have to say I agree with you.
Get you a journal.
Write it down.
Work it out in there.
But you know what? It's like, I love sports.
Yeah.
Big sports fan. So all kinds. And one of the people I like to listen to is Herm Edwards. And I always I laugh when I tell him, I don't tell him anything. I've never talked to him. When I hear him tell players, don't press send. Because he'll say they will write something down, or text or something they're getting ready to post in a moment, a heated moment. And then he's like, don't press send. Because then you put it out there and you can't get it back. But it's that same thing. You need to kind of work through that.
Yeah.
Don't put it out there.
Journal.
And people are actually now doing digital journals as well.
They are. Yeah.
And those are very popular.
I also have a digital journal. I forgot about that. It's on my iPad.
Yeah.
So if I don't have my diary and I'm on the go and I want to do an entry, I'm like, I'll just use my digital journal.
Mm-hmm. Well, that can be very convenient. But for me, it's the digital journal is the same thing as the Kindle. You know, I have the books on Kindle.
Yeah.
But I still prefer the book in my hand.
Oh yeah, me too.
And I still prefer that journal in my hand. And I'm crazy enough to like the smell of the paper.
Well, everybody who loves books likes the smell of the paper.
Okay. So I'm not so crazy.
No.
Okay, very good.
That's a part of it.
Very good. Not so crazy. Just a little crazy. But yes, I love the journaling. And if you're trying to work your way through some things, journaling is an excellent way to work your way through some things. Yeah. You can write out the things that, like you said, the things that are bothering you, the things that are upset, the things that you want to manifest. Mm-hmm. You can write out, this is what my ideal world would be. This is the ideal job. Write it out in detail. You know, I used to tell y'all that all the time. What would your career be? Write it out in detail. Mm-hmm. Feel it. Okay. But you can do that. What would your ideal career be? If you are not married or involved, what would your ideal relationship? Who would your ideal partner be? If you don't have the career that you want, what does that look like? Write it out. What would you do on a daily basis? Write them out. Start to think about it. Go back to those affirmations that we've talked about and start speaking it out loud, you know. So just use that as a tool that's helping you to become the person that you really want to be. You do have the power to create the life you want. Mm-hmm. And self-care and some of these tools that we're talking about are things that can help you get there. And I also just want to add, no, we're not experts, but we're experts in our own life.
Yeah.
We've gone through these things ourselves.
I'm an Adriel expert.
We have used these techniques that we're sharing with you. We've tried them ourselves. We're not telling you about anything that we haven't done ourselves.
Nope.
So every single thing we've talked about in self-care, these are parts of our personal journey. And they've worked out for us, and they will work for you. And we're continuing to use them because we can only hope to evolve each day and become a better version of ourselves today than we were yesterday. And some days we take 3 steps back, but that's okay. It's just like falling down. Get back up and start up again. Start moving forward again. So we hope that you will use some of these techniques. Did you have anything else you wanted to say about journals and journaling?
I don't think so.
Any of your benefits? Anything you ever wrote down and came back and said, wow, had some of those experiences?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That has happened.
Mm-hmm. And you come back and think, man, what kind of place was I in when I wrote that?
Yeah.
But at least you worked your way through it.
Journal from middle school. I look at that and I'm like, that's tough.
But the thing that gets me not so much as the, man, where was I? But the fact that some things are just consistently being replayed. I guess those are some lessons I still need to learn.
Yeah, some patterns.
Some patterns that are being repeated.
Yeah.
That's one of the things you're going to talk about.
Yeah.
But that's for another, that's for another podcast. But that's our word for today. Get yourself a journal. Write it out. If you're writing out what's bothering you, if you're writing out what you're grateful for, if you're writing out your prayers, if you're creating your ideal life, whatever it is, put it in that journal because it starts to become concrete. And then you can take that, what you've written, and put that spoken word out there and create it in your life. You are the master. You are the master. Nobody else. Circumstances may conspire against you. People may conspire against you. But ultimately, you determine who and what you're going to be. Mm-hmm. Would you agree?
Absolutely.
Yes. So, get your journal. Practice your self-care. And by all means, take care of yourself. You deserve it. So, that's all we have for today. We hope you will subscribe to our podcast. We hope you will share it. Tell a friend. Tell another friend. Tell a friend again. Leave a comment. Mm-hmm. Go back and rewatch podcasts that you particularly enjoyed. And if you didn't leave a comment the first time, leave a comment the second time. We're not grading you. We just love to hear your feedback. We would love to have dialogue, not talking at you, but sharing together. Because we can all learn from each other, right? And grow together. But anyway, that's all we have for tonight. So have a great week.